The name of this lesson is What to Do When You Have an Inexperienced Interviewer. Have you ever attended a class or workshop where you had a mediocre teacher? Maybe they had a habit of rambling on, never making a main point. Or maybe they were just so dull that you had trouble paying attention. Like teachers, not all interviewers are properly trained. But since your livelihood is on the line, you just can't sit this one out. You need to have the ability to turn that interview with an inexperienced interviewer into a good interview. One that highlights your skills, experience, and motivation for the position. So let's begin. Here are 3 techniques to turn any interview into a good interview. 1. Turning a simple yes or no question into a fabulous answer. 2. How to ask steering questions. 3. Demonstrate that you understand the job and are qualified. Point 1 is turn a simple yes or no question into a fabulous answer. Have you ever been in a conversation with someone who answered every question with either a yes or no answer or just a single word response? You might ask, "How was your weekend?" And they would say, "Fine." "Aren't you going to Italy for this summer?" And they would say, "Yes." And then nothing. You probably felt relieved when the conversation finally ended. Well, sometimes inexperienced interviewers ask yes or no questions, but if you respond with yes or no answers, you probably won't get the job. You must be able to take a basic yes or no question and give a dynamic answer that highlights your skills and experience. To give a detailed answer to a yes or no question, use the same methodology we discussed previously in Module 7. First, describe the situation. Second, detail the specific action you took. And third, provide the results that occurred. For example, do you have Java experience? Yes, I've been using Java for about 3 years of my last job. That's the situation. The project was a web application for bank payments. That's the action. I was responsible for the back end. And that's the result. Or, do you enjoy working with customers? I love working with customers. I've been a customer service rep for over 5 years. That's the situation. I started out as an administrative assistant, but moved into customer service when I realized how much I liked helping people. That's the action. I now feel comfortable moving into a position with more responsibility. That's the result. So don't be lazy when asked yes or no questions. Make sure to give an informative answer that highlights your skills and experience. Point number 2 is how to steer the interview with questions. Have you ever been in negotiation with your wife or your boss or your children about something that was important to you? During the conversation, they kept pointing out what they wanted, not what you wanted. You wished to point out other things for them to consider, but they kept the conversation on their points. In an interview, you could find yourself in a similar situation. In these situations, you want to be able to steer the conversation in a direction that allows you to expand upon your qualifications. And you do that by asking steering questions. The way to use a steering question is to change the topic and you ask it immediately following one of the answers. It should contain a specific question about the company or duties of the position and is an open-ended question, not a yes or no question. To prepare, print out a copy of the job description and write down 20 questions about the job and company that you want to know more about. Some of these questions will be answered during the interview. The questions that are not are the ones you will use for steering the interview. Some examples. What are the biggest goals of the company over the next 3 years? What are the initiatives that are most important to the company at this moment? How did you personally get to your current position? What keeps you here? Another fantastic question you can always ask is, what are the top 3 things you feel are important for this role to be a success? If you do this properly, you will be able to steer the conversation toward your own skills and experience or away from where you may be lacking. Point number 3 is how to show you understand the job and are qualified. Have you ever given someone directions to the highway or instructions on how to use your television? While you were talking, they were nodding and saying yes, but something just felt like they didn't understand. But if they repeated back what you told them in clear detail, you immediately felt reassured. During your interview, it's the same. If you can simply repeat back what you just heard the interviewer say, not only will they feel reassured that you understand the job, but they will unconsciously feel like you are more qualified to do the job. It's an easy technique to use because all you are doing is repeating back what you just heard them say, but in your own words. For example, if they say, if you join the company, you will be leading a team of 20 people and will be responsible for the team and producing the expected results, you would say, so what you're saying is I will be responsible for managing a large team of about 20, and tasked with ensuring they work as a team and produce results. Is that correct? This reinforces that you know and understand the duties and that you are okay with the responsibilities. So to recap, in this lesson we taught you how to handle an interview with an inexperienced interviewer by, first, turning simple yes or no questions into fabulous answers. Second, using steering questions. And third, demonstrating that you understand the job and are qualified. If you do these three things, you will have interviews that highlight your skills and experience and get you hired.